Welcome back to the GymCrafter YouTube channel, everybody. My name is Tim. I'm the head gym nerd here at GymCrafter.com, and this is the last video I am filming at Home Gym Con 2025 here in Louisville, Kentucky, and I figured I would save probably what's the best for last, which is the ATX booth. I spent 3 days here, Thursday, Friday, and now all day Saturday. You're gonna hear people tearing down behind us. I've tried to wait till the crowds calm down as much as possible. The ATX booth has been crowded the entire show. And I put a lot of thought into how I wanted to bring you guys ATX. And while they brought a lot of machines and equipment, and originally I thought I would kind of pick the best of the best to show you guys and look at some specific pieces of gear, what I realized was that it's not the actual functions of the pieces that make ATX special. It's definitely one of the things. They offer anything you would want to do anything. They've got a complete ecosystem of products, from racks to attachments to machines and everything in between. And while they've got some unique machines, I don't think they have anything that nobody else has. Everybody's got a leg press, everybody's got a leg curl, leg extension, everybody's got a hack squat machine. Like, everybody has those things from a general function point of view. The difference with ATX is the level of details and thought in the design and engineering of the products. And the longer you stand in front of an ATX piece, the more little things you start to notice about the thoughtful design, the adjustability, the way that they do everything has been rethought from the ground up. Everything is well thought out. There is nothing that is on any ATX piece that is there by accident, where somebody's like, hey, we need a handle over here, just get a handle and slap it on there. Nothing is like that. If they need a handle, the handle is purpose-built for that machine. It's adjustable, fixed, however they need it to be done. So what I thought would be cool to finish out the day here and finish out the weekend is to take you around to a bunch of the different pieces here at ATX to give you a sense of those little design details, the cool little features in all of their products that make ATX ATX. They won Best Booth in the show again this year. They won it last year, deservedly so. They launched their US website yesterday, I believe, as far as when I'm recording this. So you'll be able to order this stuff real soon. As soon as the trade deals worked out between US and Germany, they'll be able to sell you stuff. There's already, warehouses are full, they're ready to go. So like I said, I want to kind of give you guys an overall sense. So instead of, like I said, showing you individual pieces, let's take a look at some of the kind of ATX type things that you will only find on this gear. So I thought the best place to start this video would be on the most popular piece in the show, and this is their standing vertical chest press. This has several different things on it that are very ATX and very cool touches that make this such a unique piece. Lots of people make a machine chest press. This one is different in so many ways. So first of all, as you guys know from every video I record, I'm 6'6". So normally I would get in a machine like this and it just wouldn't work for me. So one of the things I noticed is that these pop pins and sliders move so smoothly up and down, and you could be Andre the Giant in this thing and actually work out. So one of the cool things is I can get this up anywhere I want so that these handles are appropriate. There's numbers here so I can get them to the same on each side. But the cool thing about this is lots of things adjust up and down. But in order to make this versatile, you know, when you're bench pressing, you can do close grip, you can do wide grip, you can get another bar to do neutral grip. So here I've got neutral grip. I've got another one where I can pull this out and do a wide grip right here. This is so smooth. I wish you could be here and feel this. I can also do a narrow grip to hit the triceps. So however I want to do this, I can get this adjusted specifically to how I want to use it, and right from here. Now, another thing, I'll show you some really cool stuff on this. If I want to do wide grip, what you'll see, now normally companies would go, okay, well, we want nice depth in something like this. So you would expect that this is going to give me a lot of depth, which it is. And you'll notice how easy it is for me to lift this off and get it set back up. I'll show you how that works in a second. But another nice detail, an ATX style detail, is this back pad is curved. So normally what a company would do is they would just put a flat back pad. They're like, hey, we need a flat back pad. This is designed specifically for this machine to give me more range of motion and make it easier for me to get more depth in this pressing motion. So the range of exercises that you can do between the way these handles move, the way that these go up and down, this right here is amazing. This is a plate-loaded machine with bands. I'm going to talk about bands in a second. And then down below, there's a little kickstand. So what you'll notice is I can get set lift off with no problem. So I can load this very heavy and start from the top like a bench press. And the safety down below just fell out. When I'm ready, I take my foot, I just kick up a little lever, and it locks right there. So this is a great example of quite a few of those ATX touches all in one machine. Let's take a look at some other stuff here and I'll show you. This stuff is just filled with little details like this. So I mentioned banding. One of the things that ATX does really well is pretty much everything they make can have bands. They have band pegs. But unlike equipment that you've seen traditionally, where the band pegs, typically what happens is you put a band peg at the top, you put a band peg at the bottom, you string a band between them or between your barbell and the bottom, and there you got banding. The problem is when you do things that way, when you get to the bottom range of the movement, all of the tension is out of the band. Sometimes they even fall off of the band pegs. And you'll see some companies come out with ways to secure the bands on the band peg or things like that. But you're taking a lot of the effectiveness of bands out of the deal. There's no better machine here to show you the way that the banding works on all of the ATX gear than right here. What you'll notice is that the band hooks around the point of movement right here, then it goes around this, there's a roller here, it goes around that roller there and then hooks there. What that allows you to do is there is constant tension on the band from the very bottom of the movement to the very top of the movement. Also, one of the solutions to the other way is you double up your bands or you use shorter bands. The problem is that if it gives you tension at the bottom of the movement, that way with the shorter band, there's too much tension at the bottom, at the top of the movement, and you just got this crazy amount of weight added. With this, you get a much more consistent amount of resistance added with the band. And ATX does this on virtually all of their machines. There are band pegs that are designed like this on all of their machines. So yet another way that they thought, hey, we want to do bands. We don't want to just stick some pegs on there. We want to make them as good as humanly possible. And so that's another way just to look at an example of how ATX does things on their machines. Let's look at some more stuff. Here we are over at ATX's GHD. Now, GHDs have been around forever. So what could there possibly be done to improve the GHD? Let me show you. So this is an extraordinarily hard movement. And one of the things that would make it easier is a little bit more support. So what you'll notice is this flat portion right here. So if you've got little baby legs like me and you can't do normal GHD a lot, this little pad right here for your knees makes it so much easier and it allows you to progress into the full movement. You don't need this, you simply pull the pop pin and it flips back around underneath. It doesn't just flip down, it flips underneath and locks. If you need to put it back in place, back up here. Now that is not the only thing that makes this cooler than your normal GHD. Let me show you what these do. So one of the biggest challenges for a GHD is getting the in and out of them and also getting them set up for you. Typically what you see is this big giant foot assembly is going to slide back and forth with a pop pin. It's difficult to move, it's difficult to change. A lot of times it's hard, you got to get set up, get out, get set up, get out. What this one has, this has a little, like it's a bicycle brake handle up here. So check this out. As you're getting in, you reach back and you grab this. Look how smoothly that moves. So you need it real close, you need it real far. You want to get in with your foot out here where you've got room and then reach back and move it to get you set up to where you're going to be. This thing works like a charm. It's really smooth and it's probably the easiest to get in and out of and adjust for your size GHD that I've ever used. So there's again a couple more examples of ATX taking things and going, hey, how from the ground up can we make them as good as possible? How can we make them as functional as possible? And how can I possibly sound more positive about our brand, right? Boy, sometimes, just to let you guys know, ATX does not have an affiliate program. They are not paying me to say this. I just really love thoughtfully designed stuff. And I'm so excited not only to get this stuff in the US, but things like this are going to make everyone else have to get better to compete. So I really love the fact that so much new kind of attention to detail and so much new cool stuff is actually coming to the US. It's really, there's nothing but good things can come from competition, and these guys are bringing the competition, and I am not done showing you cool stuff yet either. Now you guys know how much I like banding equipment, and that's one of the reasons I like ATX. I showed you how they apply normal bands, but let's take it one step further. While banding the movement as you kind of go to the top and stretching the band to make it harder this way, reverse banding is something you don't see a lot of people use, yet it's built in. I'm standing next to their pendulum squat. And a pendulum squat, if you haven't used one, man, they are difficult. So behind you, you'll see an orange band. That's a standard band. That makes it harder at the top of the movement. And what happens is this one is banded around the outside. So as you get to the bottom, and boy, the depth in a pendulum squat, it gets harder and harder and harder at the bottom. It really isolates your quads. Well, what this does is this pushes on it, so the heavier of a band you put here, the more it stretches at the bottom, the more it helps you get out of the hole. So between this band and that band, you can actually dial in this piece of gear so that you can work on your weak spots of the movement. You can actually make yourself stronger in different portions of the movement. And yet again, one more example of something where most companies who would make a pendulum squat wouldn't even consider doing something like this, but when you design something, again, from the ground up to have a specific training purpose, that's why details like this are here. And no, I am not done yet. So another thing that's been around forever are safeties for racks, right? And typically you've got your safety straps, you've got your spotter arms, you've got your pins, and then you've got flip down safeties, something like this. Or are they? So again, getting these safeties on and off are kind of the best of a bad situation. Check this out. So instead of a normal safety, what we've got is we've got a pop pin under here. All we have to do, pull the pop pin, this pops right off. Look how easily that comes and goes. You've got two pins on this side. You've got a pin that seats all the way through on this side. You want to put it back on. Everything lines up nicely. You don't have to worry about twisting and spinning and then damaging your rack or things like that. So even something as simple as a safety has been upgraded, again, from the ground up to be very specific to ATX, and pretty darn cool. Okay, so right above those safeties, we've got jammer arms on this particular rack. And jammer arms are kind of a cool idea, but they come with some inherent problems that nobody has really solved yet until now. There's three really cool features on these jammer arms that I haven't seen on anybody else's that I think are really neat. Number one, the handles themselves are kind of a little bit of an inverted V handle, so they're really nice to be able to hold on to. It's a two-arm type of a thing to slide these up and down. There's also a pop pin on each side. So what that does is it allows you, if you want to move these jammer arms up and down, to do it safely and nice and smoothly. Now, if you're looking at how smoothly these things move, another nice feature on these is there's these little screws on either side where you can actually tighten the rollers forward and backward. A lot of companies, what they do is they'll build rack attached things like this with rollers, but they'll either make the rollers too tight so it adds friction and it makes it harder to move them up and down, or they'll be a little too loose so things move around and wobble and there's a play in it. And when you're moving heavy weight on a jammer arm, the last thing you want is for things to kind of move around. Now, some companies will put screws to tighten things down and things like that. Well, what these guys have done is they've made it so that you can actually adjust your rollers forward and back, and that way you can get it not so tight that they add friction, but not so loose that they add play. So this thing moves super smooth. So I've used this comparison before, but this is a German company, this is German engineering, and I remember back in the 80s when American cars really were getting pounded, and we used to have American cars all the time, and in an American car what you would do is you would slam the door and the entire car would rattle and shake. Not so much that way anymore, but it certainly used to be. I remember the first time I got in a BMW and shut the door and you hear that nice solid thud. That's kind of the feeling you get with this stuff. The tolerances are so good on all of this stuff. Nothing rattles, nothing shakes, nothing moves around unwantedly. Let me show you one more cool thing on these jammer arms, which help them move a whole lot more smoothly and keep your rack in better shape too. All right, guys, coming on down to the bottom of the jammer arms, I want to show you one more touch that they've added. One of the issues with jammer arms is not only are they big and heavy, which those top parts with the trolleys kind of help you with, but also what happens when these things clang down for storage. A lot of times when they first came out, this was going to be metal on metal, and over time a lot of manufacturers figured out to put a little rubber bumper here so that when you lower this down for storage or to get it collapsed and out of the way, it doesn't scratch up your rack. So people will put a little rubber bumper down here. The problem with that rubber bumper is if you need to move these things up and down while this is collapsed, you now have friction on the post, which over time will rub off the finish on your rack, even if it's rubber. And also, moving it up and down on your rack makes it harder because you've got a rubber bumper that's weighted down on this. So what ATX has done on their jammer arms is they've actually put a little rubber roller here. So between this, the tightened rollers up above, the handles with the two pop pins, these things are probably the easiest to move around your uprights as far as any jammer arms that I've used, and just a joy to use. So that's jammer arms, right? Who knew? So as much as I like making hour-long videos, what I realize as I'm going through, I could literally make a video that is several hours long. And as I realize that I'm absolutely gushing over the ATX product, I think deservedly so, I realize that hopefully you guys get the point of what I'm trying to point out about ATX. There isn't a piece in this booth that doesn't have some aspect or feature or function or design element that is similar to what I've just showed you on just a few of their pieces. So as ATX comes to the United States, as they come here and make their debut, if you're looking to add stuff to your gym and you're looking for a nice higher end piece of equipment, something that you're going to really enjoy using, because that's the part I can't show you here. All of those features are cool and great and look neat on a video, but they make the products a joy to use. Using this stuff, especially like the product I started with, the vertical chest press. Everybody who gets on that, when they first look, they look it over and they're like, oh, this is cool. And then they get on it and they use it and they're like, their eyes light up and they go, oh, this is really cool. It's one thing to show you a curved back pad. It's another thing to feel that curved back pad and the difference it makes in the biomechanics of how you do that movement. And that's the case with all of these things. It's one thing to explain the banding system, it's another thing to feel the banding system. So what I want to try and get across to you guys, again, there's no affiliate program. I don't make $1 if you buy ATX, but I think that once you get it in your home, you'll see what everybody here is so excited about, why you're probably going to see so many videos on different channels about ATX, why they won Best in Show 2 years in a row now at Home Gym Con, and why they're making such a big splash coming to the United States. So if you guys have any ATX questions, I've got contacts here that I can help you with, that I can get questions answered hopefully, so pop them in the comment field below. I'm happy to look up answers for you if you need them. Other than that, I will put links below to stuff if there's things of interest, but like I said, not an affiliate, so I'll put a link to the ATX site below, the US site. Hopefully they'll be live with orderable products soon, but right now you can actually look at the product, look at the pricing, see what it's going to be. And again, this is it for Home Gym Con, guys. This is my last video. I don't know if you can hear it. My voice is literally almost gone. My throat's been killing me all day long, so this is all I got, guys. This is all I got. Man, I think we ended on a good note. Next year, you gotta come. If you didn't come this year, come next year. Check out everything. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger every year, and it should be at least as good or better next year. And that's all I got for this video. So as usual, guys, again, I've said it in every video from Home Gym Con. I couldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys liking, subscribing, clicking on the links, giving me your feedback, helping the channel get better by telling me what you like to see, and all of those things help. All those things are so appreciated. I can't, this is my job. This is what I get to do for a living, and I would come here on my own dime just to come here as a consumer. So to think that this is part of my job because of you guys, I am super grateful for that. So that's all I've got from Home Gym Con. That's all I've got from the ATX booth. That's all I've got for this weekend for sure. And until the next video, I'm Tim with GymCrafter.